Tip I want to share with you is something that I learned from Tony Robbins. It's called OPA. And what OPA stands for is outcome, purpose, and action. And I'll share myself personally when it comes to OPA. The way that I use this is I had a goal at one point this past year where I wanted to lose weight, and it was something that I wanted to do because I noticed that I had gained some weight and I was like feeling a little bit sluggish, and I was kind of like making up some excuses as to why I gained weight. I went through some challenges, and I was that was the story that was playing in my mind. I wasn't telling people about it, but I was telling myself that, oh no, it's because of this that I gained weight, or it's because of that. And it was just excuses that I was making. And when I wanted the outcome, I remember that I had to decide exactly what I wanted the outcome to be. When you want the outcome, you have to make sure that it's not very vague, that it's not just saying, I want to lose weight. Then you really don't have a target. You really don't know exactly what it is that you want to attain. So for me, when I was looking at myself and I was weighing 217, and I said to myself, I want to lose 13 pounds or more. And when you talk about weight, or let's say money that you want to make, you want to say or more. So for me, it was 13 pounds or more. Or if you want to make, let's say the outcome you want is $100,000 or more. Don't just say $100,000, because then you'll be aiming to hit just $100,000. And then once you hit that target, or you'll be satisfied. You want to make sure that you say that you want and more. So for me, it was, I want to lose 13 pounds or more. And now that I have the outcome that I desire, what I want to attain, now the next step is P, purpose. Why is this important? Like, why do I want this goal? And the reason why I wanted this goal is because I wanted to feel healthier. I wanted to be able to be there for my kids. I want to make sure that I'm constantly taking care of myself, that I have more energy, to make sure that I'm able to fulfill my purpose. Because if I don't have energy, if I'm not at 100%, that I can't really perform at 100% in my personal and my professional life. So for me, that was my purpose. So now that I had the purpose, now it was time to put an action plan together. So that's what the A stands for. And you have to be specific about the steps that you'll take to make sure that you attain this goal. So for me, my goal was to lose 13 pounds or more. Okay, so my goal was to work out for an hour or more a day. I also wanted to make sure that I was keeping my calorie count at a certain amount, less than 2,400, and drinking enough water, making sure that I wasn't eating a lot of the junk foods that I was eating at one point. And that helped me to make sure that I knew exactly the things that I needed to do in order for me to get to that goal. Another way that you can look at it is from a professional standpoint. For example, for me, an outcome that I wanted was, I wanted to become a full-time coach and speaker. I wanted to make this my full-time income. And when that was my outcome, I then decided why is this was important. The reason why it was so important is because I wanted to run my own calendar. I wanted to make sure that I spent more time with my family, with my kids, especially since they were little at the time when I wanted to go full time. I wanted to make sure that I was there for those crucial years. And that was my outcome, and that was my why, the reason why I wanted to do that. And I also wanted to have the privilege of just saying, today maybe I'm not going to work today, or I'm going to take a day off. And it was nice to have that. And I also wanted to have the opportunity to have not have somebody that was telling me, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that. I wanted to just be my own boss. And so that was the reason why I wanted this. And then the plan of action for me was making sure that I was connecting with people, making sure that I was building more relationships with people, to make sure that I was getting more speaking engagements, to make sure that I was getting more coaching clients, to make sure that I was serving more people, and that I was taking a lot of action during the time that I was not at work. So when I was off of work, I would be messaging people, or I'd be coaching people, or I'd be speaking. I would also even be doing it at work because my job allowed me to just be on my phone and DMing people, making videos, and doing things like that helped me to get to that goal. So when you think about this, right, this activity right here, I want you to do this kind of like mini exercise right now. I want you to write down one goal that you want to attain in the next 6 months, the next year, the next 2 years, 3 years. And then I want you to put a purpose behind it. Why is this so important to you? Why is it so important for you to make over $100,000? Why is it so important for you to lose 10 or 20 pounds? And then I want you to write down 3 actions that you can take this week or today to start making progress towards that goal. So that's the first tip. Now, if you want to get deeper and extend this concept of OPA that focuses more on just getting that result, and rather than just having a to-do list, um, I want to talk to you about another tool that's called RPM, which is result, purpose, massive action. So this one is kind of like OPA, but it's just kind of like a little bit faster, and it will help you to get your results quicker if you are really wanting it really fast. So um, ask yourself right now, what are the results that I'm committed to creating? And when we talk about committed, this gives you that kind of like obligation to make sure that you do it, that you're committed to doing it, that you're committed to making sure that this happens. So think about like what's a result that you're committed to, that you want to make sure that you accomplish, and why must you achieve it? So P stands for purpose. Why must you achieve this goal? Write that down. And then the massive action plan. Like, what are the most effective actions right now that you can take? And instead of having a to do list, in this case, you'll have a results list each day. And this is something that if you do this for 10, 20, 30 days, you will get massive results, and you will get more results in those 10, 20, 30 days than you would in a whole year because you really were focused on this commitment, and you said that no matter what happens, I will do it and I will achieve it. And you will also have that big purpose like, why must you achieve this? It's if you don't achieve this, then your life will be hard. And taking that massive action plan and like what are the most effective actions that you need to take right now, and making sure that you write down that to-do list. So what is that to-do list for you? What is that action that you need to take today to start moving and making progress towards that goal, towards your greatness? And I encourage you to write this down and look at this goal that you want every single day, making sure that you're looking at it and making sure that you're making this a priority, that you're making sure that you are laser focused on this, that nothing stops you. And again, that's why the why is so important, because the why will make sure that that doesn't stop you, that you keep moving forward. And I know I was talking to one of my clients, and I remember we started working in January, and we've been working for about 6 months. And her journey has been amazing. I mean, she's been on a plan of personal development, personal growth, but one of the biggest things that she wanted was to lose weight, and she wanted to lose a good amount of weight. And I mean, she lost, so far she's lost 35 pounds in these short 6 months, and it was because she wanted this result. Like there was no stopping her from getting this result. And the reason why was because she wanted to look better, she wanted to feel better, she wanted to feel better about herself. And her actions were, hey, show up every day, walk for 3 miles, make sure that she's doing it every single day, and that she's eating right. She's not eating those unhealthy foods. Every now and then she'll reward herself, but she's sticking to that turkey, those vegetables, those fruits, and staying hydrated, making sure that she is staying on her goal and that nothing stops her. So for you, what is that goal that you want to attain? And what are you going to do to make sure that nothing stops you as well? So the next tip that I want to share with you is managing your state, like your state of mind. So when you think about emotion, it's created by motion. Because if, let's say, we had a person right next to me that was not feeling really good, that was extremely depressed, how would you describe that person? You'd probably describe that person with the head down, really sad, low tonality, just looks extremely down, slunched over. And when we are in that state, our body, our motion will create our emotion. And that's why it's very important that we focus on our motion, because that motion, that state that we're in, that actually creates our emotional, our mental, and physical behaviors. And when we look at how you can change your life and change this state, there are three ways that you can change your state. And the first one is the way you move your body, your physiology. So if you're the type of person that's just constantly sitting down, or it's not, you're not moving, you're not doing anything that is having you like move your body, then your state will be in a kind of like sad state. It won't be in a motivated state. And maybe you might not be sad, but you won't have any energy because you're not moving around. And I remember I was presenting to some people at a conference, and I put a picture of a chair, and then on top of the chair there was a cigarette, alcohol, and then there was a potato chips and then a burger. And then I asked them, in this picture, what do you think is killing the most people? And people were saying, oh, the cigarette, oh, the alcohol, oh, the potato chips, oh, the hamburger. And then in the next picture, all you saw was a chair. And they said, what, the chair? The chair is killing people? And I said, yeah, the chair is killing more people than all these things, because when you're sitting down for a long period of time, your blood's not circulating. That's how people start getting blood clots. That's how people gaining weight, because they're not moving. And then when you're gaining weight, then you're not able to like be motivated and moving. So the chair is was actually killing more people, because people are spending a lot of hours just sitting down. And I also saw a stat that said that for every hour that you're sitting down, you're supposed to stand up, move around a little bit. And the reason why I share this story is because that's the power of your motion, your physical state, your physiology, the way you move. So if you're not moving and you're just staying in that state of just nothing, just sitting there, then you will not be motivated. You will not be motivated to take action towards your goals. And that's why it's important to work out. Are you working out? And if you're not, how much time are you willing to work out? Are you constantly the person that when you're talking, you're slunched over and you're just with a very low tone, sound really sad, demotivated? Then people are not going to be working with you. People are not going to be or want to be around you, because you have this really low energy. And our body language and our tonality, that's 93% of our the way that we communicate to people. And 7% are our words. So if you're the type of person that's trying to motivate somebody and tell them, hey, you can do it, but you're like this, you're saying, hey, I know you can do it. You got this. Right, then people are not going to believe you. But if you're that type of person, and I don't know, I'm not saying you have to be like Pollyanna and say, I'm so happy and jumping up and down. But if you're the type of person that says, hey man, like, I see something in you. You're amazing. You can do it. The tonality, the body language is a lot better than if you are with a low state of vibration. So that's really important, the way you move your body. And then your focus, that also determines your emotional, mental, physical well being. And your focus, whatever you put your focus on, that's where the energy is going to flow. So where focus goes, energy flows. You put your focus on the negative, or why this happens to me, why is this always happening to me, or why are things going wrong, or why is the world so bad, then you're going to attract more of that. But if you put your focus on the positive, on the things that are good, you're going to attract more of that. So where are you putting your focus on? Because you're going to attract more of that. And what's wrong, that's always going to be available, but so is what is right. And you have the choice. What do you want to focus on? So that is a big piece of achieving your goals. If you're looking at the reason why it's not going to work, then you're going to attract more of why it's not going to work. But if you put your attention on why it will work, then you will attract why it will work. So think about, where are you putting your focus when it comes to your goals? Are you saying that it's too hard to lose weight? Then yeah, you're absolutely right. You're not going to lose weight. Is it hard to make $100,000? Yeah, you're absolutely right. It is hard to make $100,000 because that's what you think. I can't do it. I can't start a business. You're absolutely right. Because he who says he can and he who says he can't are both usually right. So are you telling yourself you can? Are you telling yourself you can't? Whichever one you are stating, you're absolutely right. And then the final one is using in empowering language. So your language is, it plays a big factor, and it's kind of like similar to this changing your focus. So your language, your words, they turn into a thought. That thought creates the way you feel. That feeling creates the action you take, and that action creates the result that you get. If you get a negative result, here comes another negative thought, feeling, negative action, negative result. And it's just a vicious cycle that takes you to a place where you tell yourself, oh man, this is probably not going to work. And then you take little action to no action, you get this feeling of self doubt. And then you get little results to no results. And then those little results to no results leads to another negative thought saying, oh man, I knew this wasn't going to work. And then it's another feeling of self doubt. And I knew this wasn't going to work. And then the feeling of like unworthiness. And then the action that you take is no action. And then that action leads to no results. And then you say, I knew this wasn't going to work. I knew this is not going to work. And you're absolutely right. Why? Because it all started with your words, your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, and your results. And that's what got you no results. But the opposite, you can do the opposite as well. You say, you know what? I think it's going to work. And then when you think it's going to work, you start to have positive thoughts, positive feelings, positive actions, positive results. And then before you know it, you're saying, you know what? I can do this. I believe in myself. I can do it. And then another positive feeling, positive action, positive results. And then before you know it, you're doing it. You're achieving your goals of that weight you wanted to lose, the amount of money you wanted to make, the book you finally wanted to write, the business that you finally wanted to start. And then you're doing it. You're believing in yourself. So that's the third piece. Remember, how are you moving your body? Are you a type of person that's just stagnant, or are you a person that's very energetic? Where are you putting your focus? Is it on the negative? Is it on the positive? The choice is yours. And then what kind of language are you using towards yourself? Is it positive? Is it negative? And just remember, we think 50 to 70,000 thoughts a day. That's 3,000 thoughts an hour. If you constantly are thinking negative thoughts, then that's all you're going to attract. But that's why it's important that you start putting your focus on the positive. And then the fourth and final tip that I want to share with you is the power of your identity. So when you think about this goal that you want to attain, ask yourself, who do I need to become to achieve this goal? Because what got you here will not get you to where you want to get. So if you're going to be the same person that you were last year and this year to attain what you want in 1 or 3 or 5 years, you're not going to attain it. So you need to become a different person for you to attain that goal. Maybe you need to acquire more skills. Maybe you need to take more courses. Maybe you need to get a coach. Maybe you need to get somebody that can teach you how to get there. And then changing that perception of yourself of like, let's say that you want to start a business, but you say, oh, I'm trying to become a business owner, but I just can't do it. I don't know how to do it. Okay, you change it to, I'm not a business owner, but I'm going to learn how to become a business owner. Changing your thoughts, changing your thinking. And then um and then just remember, like, what identifies your behavior, which is like shifting your self-image. And once you shift your image, who you are, your actions will follow. You'll follow the direction of that person that you want to be, that person that you know you can be. And when you start thinking about your future self, like who it is that you want to become, if you put more focus on that and then you see yourself as that person today, you'll eventually become that future self. And remember, if you don't do this, this is a really important question that I want to ask you, and I want to leave you with this. Um, if you're the type of person that maybe, and you know what, maybe right now you really don't know who you want to become, and I wanted to share this with you. I actually forgot about this, but I want to share this with you. If you don't know who you want to become, I encourage you to think about three or four people that you really admire. And when you think about those three to four people, what are their attributes? What are their characteristics that you really admire about them? And then write them down. And then you can do this. I did this where I wrote on a 3x5 card. Can't really see it. I wrote on a 3x5 card all the attributes, all the characteristics that those people had. And I started to read it every day in the morning, throughout the day, and then at night before I went to bed to remind myself of the person that I desire to be. So I would say I'm courageous, I am powerful, I'm of service, I am a person of integrity, all these things that I started to tell myself. And then eventually I read them so much that those words started to become this thought of myself, a feeling, an action, a result. And then before you know it, I was becoming this person. So for you, who do you need to become? Think about the four people you admire. And if maybe you don't have people in your circle that you admire, and that might be a sign you need to change your circle. But another thing you can do is you can look up people that you see on YouTube. I found a lot of motivational speakers, coaches that I really admired, and then I started to write their attributes. And then I determined that, hey, I want to be like these people. So think about you. Who do you need to become to attain these goals? And then I want, like, again, I want to leave you with this final question is um, think about if you don't start this business, if you don't write this book, if you don't lose the weight, if you don't make the money, think about that. Like what will it cost you if you don't change? And if you don't attain this goal, what will be the pain you will uh you will feel if you do not attain this goal, if you don't go for it, if you don't finally take the action? Think about what will be the pain. Let's say you're the same person next year and you're doing the exact same thing. And if you're happy with it, cool. But if you're not, and if you're doing the exact same thing next year, what kind of pain will you feel? Are you going to be unhappy? Are you going to be miserable? Are you going to be in a state of mind that says, I'm not good enough, or I can't do this, or this always happens to me? Are you going to be in that victim mentality? Or are you going to finally decide and say, and look at this question that I want to ask you is, what will I gain if I do this? What will I gain if I attain this goal of losing weight? What will I attain if I finally start my business? What will I attain if I finally write that book? What will I attain if I finally make that money? Think about what you will gain. Hey, being an author, hey, you're going to leave a legacy behind. You're going to be able to inspire many people. You're going to start a business. You're going to be your own boss. You're going to be able to run your own calendar. You're going to be able to spend more time with family. You make the $100,000 or more, you get to take your family on vacation. You get to do a lot of fun things. Think about what you will gain, and also think about like, hey, if you don't do it, what's going to be the suffering because if you don't do it. So I want to know, like, hey, which of these tools that I shared with you spoke to you the most? I want you to drop it in the comments. Or if you have maybe a tool that you use, I would love to hear it. And yeah, and if you found this helpful, this is also on YouTube. It's called Reinvent Yourself, Stories of Reinvent Yourself, Discovering Your Higher Purpose. If you want to subscribe, it's my YouTube channel. I also have a podcast there. I would love to hear your thoughts. But yeah, I want you to really think about what is it that you want to attain in your life. And is this year going to be the same as, is next year going to be the same as this year? And if it is, are you going to be happy or not? And if you're not, then I hope that these tools can help you to make sure that you are living a life of purpose and a life of meaning, like a life that excites you, because you were born to live a life that excites you. You weren't born just live and tiptoe into an early grave. So think about what is that? What is that desire that you have in your heart? what is it that you would like to attain in your life this coming year? Let me know. I would love to hear it. And if you're also interested in a free 30-minute consultation, if you need help with this, getting clear on this, I can absolutely help you with that. I'd be happy to give you a 30-minute consultation and show you exactly how I can help you so that you can take your life to the next level. Have a wonderful day.